Hey y'all, welcome to the Flavor Fox. I'm here to put delicious looking recipes to the test so you don't have to. I'm your friend in the kitchen, just telling you like it is. So come on y'all, let's get cooking. You can find links to the recipe we're trying today, along with helpful ingredients and the kitchen stuff I use in the description of this video. I don't know about y'all, but I've been wanting some lighter dishes lately. And this one from Garten, that's right, the Barefoot Contessa from Food Network, just looked wonderful. It's for lemon fusilli with arugula. It just looks so bright and fresh on the image, I couldn't resist. This was listed as an easy level dish. Thank goodness. I've had some doozies lately, and I could go for something simple but delicious. It also says it's about 10 minutes of prep time and 30 minutes of cooking time, for a total of 40 minutes. The ingredients list shows a fresh and Italian feel to it with garlic, lemon, cream, veggies, and pasta. Yum! Now I know y'all have heard me say before that you need to read the whole recipe before you get started, and this one is an example of that. Near the end, you see that when you put all of these ingredients together, the pasta is served hot. That's right. I thought this was a make-ahead salad that I was going to have to put in the fridge and let cool. I mean, make-ahead dishes are great as long as you actually remember to make them ahead of time. See, I'd forgotten, so this was sure a nice surprise. The first part of the recipe is all about getting the sauce going. You heat some olive oil in a saucepan over medium heat and then add in the minced garlic for about a minute. I was in a hurry this day, so I used pre-minced garlic from a jar. I know, the garlic snobs will have my head, but honey, I was tired and I just wasn't up for peeling and chopping any garlic. Then I added the heavy cream, still over medium heat mind you, so it doesn't burn. Then, with that heavy cream still heating on the stove, I set to zesting the 2 lemons. You'll notice here I give that pot a little stir to make sure that cream doesn't stick. Then we cut those 2 lemons up and juice them right into the saucepan. Then we add in the salt and the pepper. The next part is to bring that creamy mixture slowly up to a boil over medium heat. Resist the urge to crank up the heat. This is dairy. Dairy burns really easily. You can even see on the sides of the saucepan it's trying to stick a little bit. This takes a few minutes and you have to be patient, but it's well worth it. I tried to zoom in here so you could see the bubbles as it starts boiling, but a white sauce on a black surface is just really hard to see. If you can't see the bubbles, please trust, it is getting up to a boil. Now we reduce the heat down to let the creamy mixture simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. I usually split the difference when there's this kind of direction, so I chose 18 and set the timer. The next step is going to be to chop some broccoli and get it to a boil. So I set the left-hand burner with another saucepan of water, starting to get to a boil while I go chop the broccoli. The ingredients list has a reference to 1 bunch of broccoli, which is pretty vague, but okay. We'll hope that my bunch of broccoli is not considered really small by their standards or completely Texas size huge. We're supposed to cut it up into florets. Normally when I'm using broccoli in a dish, I use the whole thing. I've even searched why someone might waste the parts of the broccoli that aren't the little trees part. And I swear all I found was aesthetics and texture. In order to follow the directions precisely and not risk bad measurements, I followed it exactly. But I kind of felt bad wasting the other parts that are just as nutritious. This part was cutting off all the little stems to just get to the florets. My goal was for the florets to be bite-sized, just a bite that I would appreciate in a dish. Check out my little sous chef on the right, waiting to see if he can have the extra. Since it took a few minutes to chop that broccoli, the water in the saucepan was already at a boil. So I placed the florets in the water to put them on a boil for 3 to 4 minutes until they're fork tender. I checked them after boiling for about 3 minutes, poking them lightly with a fork to see if they were tender. I was satisfied, so I pulled them off the heat. To keep the broccoli from getting mushy, we're told to remove it from the heat, drain the boiling water, and run it under cold water to stop that cooking process. The next step was to boil the fusilli pasta. And y'all, I wasn't dirtying up a third saucepan, so I rinsed out the broccoli pan and filled it back up with water to put it on the stove to boil. So right after I put the left-hand saucepan on a burner to get it to a boil, the timer went off on my cream sauce. I checked it to make sure it was sufficiently thick and went ahead and took it off the heat so that it wouldn't burn. Now my stove has a power boil feature on the right-hand burner, so I went ahead and moved that water over from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. Once that water was at a boil, I put the pasta in it and set a timer for 12 minutes to get it to al dente per the instructions on the package. While the fusilli was boiling, I cut the cherry tomatoes in half. Because I had read the recipe in advance, I really didn't see any reason to have these tomatoes before I even started. I knew there was going to be an opportunity while either broccoli or pasta was boiling to go ahead and take care of this. Once the 12 minutes was up and the fusilli was al dente, I drained it in the sink. But note, we are not to run this one under cold water because the pasta is to be served hot. We're actually told to return it to the same saucepan, and you'll notice I lose a couple doing that. Now we return the pasta to the burner on medium-low heat and add in that cream sauce, mixing it in well. I'm a little embarrassed at the mess that I made on my stovetop, but this is real life, y'all. We make messes. After the 3 minutes on medium-low heat, the last step is to toss everything together in a mixing bowl. We start with the hot pasta and cream mixture and add in the arugula. I got a smidge concerned when I put in all that arugula, thinking, wow, I have messed up on my measurements, but this was the right amount. I did use packaged pre-shredded Parmesan on this one, y'all. It was not going in the cream sauce, and I was done dirtying up dishes. Man, I am sure not making friends with the garlic and cheese snobs today. Then we add in the broccoli and tomatoes. Finally, we're told to slice that last lemon into slices. Now, for some reason, the directions said these were to be 1/4 inch thick and sliced crosswise. I really don't understand why that would be important, nor do I get what it meant. So I sliced one of them vertically and one of them horizontally. Pretty sure it's going to taste the same no matter what it looks like aesthetically. Then we just drop those lemons in the mixing bowl and mix it all together well before serving. You can definitely see that pasta is still hot as I'm mixing it in. I decided to pour this one into a serving dish so we could really see how this turned out. Sometimes it's a little difficult to see in the actual mixing bowl, but honestly, if I was just serving this to my family, we'd eat it right out of the mixing bowl. We're not fancy where we need serving dishes every time. This last shot is showing how it looked on the recipe on my iPad, what it looked like in the serving dish, and then finally what it looks like on the plate. Overall, it's a great match as far as I'm concerned. Let's see how this one rates. On timing. This recipe said it would take a total of 40 minutes with 10 minutes of prep time and 30 minutes of cooking time. My final time came out right at 40 minutes, but I will note this was very active the entire time. There were pots boiling and things being drained and things being chopped. It was not prep for 10 minutes, start the stove and walk away for a half an hour. The instructions on this recipe were well written and easy to follow, aside from that little snafu on the size of the head of broccoli. My only other note is for some reason they tried to list it as only 3 steps, but when you get into it, it's 5 or 6 or 7. I honestly think it would have read much easier having 6 or 7 steps instead of 3 big paragraphs. The look. This dish looks super close to the image on the recipe. I was really surprised how similar they were. I fully expected that arugula to wilt instantly and get dark and gross looking, but it stayed really nice for plating. The taste. The taste on this was delicious. It's cheesy and creamy and somehow stays light and still flavorful. It's fresh and bright, just like I wanted. Hubby and I both really like this one. The final verdict. This recipe is exactly what I was looking for that day. I wanted something light and delicious with a short prep time. It was well written and easy to follow and tasted great. I'm even going to note here, hubby and I discussed the best part of this dish was the sauce. I know Ina Garten would have my hide because it isn't very Italian to say it, but if you're interested in low carb or low sugar, this would be great with or without the pasta. You could easily do a veggie combination you like with that sauce and it would be delicious. This recipe is Certified Foxy. I will definitely be making it again, maybe even with some homegrown variations. Don't y'all forget to check out the video description for links to this recipe, the ingredients, and even the kitchen stuff I use. I am so glad we found something foxy for y'all today. Thanks for stopping by my kitchen. See y'all next time.